The David Geffen School of Medicine at UCLA is one of the most elite med schools in America. It's also named after record and film exec David Geffen, who you can thank for Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, and Beetlejuice. If you go to med school at UCLA, your first year will include all the courses you'd expect, like anatomy, physiology, and scientific foundations of medicine. But there's another mandatory course you might not expect. The class is called Structural Racism and Health Equity, and topics include racial capitalism, environmental racism, and colonialism. If you're wondering what these things have to do with being a doctor, well, sweet child of mine, the answer is something called DEI, and it's been spreading like wildfire through every institution in our country. So, what is DEI? DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Diversity is about embracing people of different groups, backgrounds, or beliefs. Equity means supporting those who might experience disadvantages. Inclusion means making everyone feel included. These are all great, empathetic words, and when you put them all together, you get a movement of programs that appeal to the compassion and good intentions of our society. These programs are supposed to promote fair treatment and full participation for everyone, especially those groups who have historically suffered under bondage, discrimination, or injustice. And let's be honest, in our country, like most countries, that's included a lot of people throughout our history. DEI may be full of good intentions, but so is the road to hell. The question is, what is DEI actually doing? In elementary schools across the country, DEI curriculum teaches young students that there are two categories of people: oppressor and oppressed. Third graders are taught that a dominant culture of white, middle-class, cisgender, educated, able-bodied Christians have and will always be responsible for holding other groups down. This is in math class, by the way. These same schools are eliminating honors and gifted programs and even standardized tests because they promote systemic racism, not hard work or achievement. In higher ed, 67% of major universities require all students to take DEI courses to graduate, like queer kinship, undoing the American family. And that's only if they get in. Schools like Harvard have taken to holding Asian American applicants to higher academic and personal standards than other students in order to increase diversity admissions. Apparently, throwing out SAT scores and ranking Asian Americans lower in likability and kindness than every other racial group is a great way to balance the scales. Once students are in, they'll learn not to use dangerous words that perpetuate binary gender stereotypes, like freshmen. Biased reporting systems encourage students to report harmful speech. The DEI office gets to decide what counts and what doesn't. Clearly, anti-Semitism isn't on that list. DEI isn't just for students either. Across the country, public universities have required coerced diversity statements from faculty applicants to get hired, complete with diversity scores. Just don't talk about treating all students the same. Automatic fail. And then there's the boardroom, the military, and healthcare. Racial bias trainings indoctrinate employees on their unconscious white privilege, racism, and sexism, while recruitment efforts have become obsessed with hiring based on diversity. After all, it's not like qualifications, merit, or experience are the difference between life and death on the battlefield or in the operating room. If the irony of DEI isn't abundantly clear yet, look at it this way. Requiring DEI statements, speech codes, and ideologically driven college courses is anti-diversity. Teaching children that their race or gender automatically defines their destiny is anti-equity. Admission practices that discriminate against Asian American students is anti-inclusion. DEI will never achieve greater diversity by discriminating against one group and requiring everyone to think the same way. DEI cannot achieve greater equality by treating people unequally. DEI cannot increase inclusion by excluding certain groups, their ideas, or their culture. The results are clear. DEI kills meritocracy and fairness and opposes common sense and reason. At its core, DEI flies in the face of the American dream and true equality under the law. Learn more at goldwaterinstitute.org/DEI.